everyone, this video is all about using Plexiglass, also known as Perspex or clear acrylic, in DIY pet cages. Now as you can see, I have Perspex on the front of my guinea pig's cage, and I just thought I'd do a video on the pros and cons of this material if you're thinking about using it in a cage for your own pets, whatever pets they might be, not just guinea pigs. So one of the biggest advantages that Plexiglass or Perspex has going for it is that, of course, it is see-through. So this makes it really easy to interact with your guinea pigs or whatever pet it might be. They can see you coming, the cage is more open so you can see them a lot more easily, and it's just really easy to interact and bond with your pets. Another thing that this material has going for it is that it's super modern looking. Because it's just clear, it fits into any modern styled room, and the cage doesn't have to feel like it's the kind of messy part that should be tucked away. In fact, your cage can stand out as like the feature piece in your room, really. So for example, in this room I've got it with IKEA furniture. It's standing over IKEA Kallax shelves with storage units underneath, and to the side there, a bit messy at the moment, I know, I have my sewing desk with, again, the same IKEA white finish to it, and the plexiglass just fits in perfectly with all of this. Another great thing about it is that if you have rodents, they're not going to want to chew on it unless you have any edges. Like I've got a corner edge along here which they haven't really paid any attention to it, but maybe other guinea pigs might. But if you just have a flat edge as the front surface as the cage, for example, there's no edges that they can get to chew on, and that can be a real problem with other materials, including the CNC cage grids that you can get. So that's a really good point if you have guinea pigs or rabbits that are chewers and you want a material that they can't really get their teeth around. Another good thing is that it's a really durable material and it's really easy to clean as well. If you think in comparison to CNC grids, yes, they're both going to get mess and dirt on them, but with a clean smooth surface like this, you can just wipe it off no problem, whereas grids, you've got all the little nooks and crannies, and if you want to do a proper good clean, you're probably going to take the grids off the cage and put them in washing up liquid and do them that way, whereas Perspex you can just wipe down and it cleans up really well. However, it isn't all hunky-dory. There are some negatives to using this which I found out about along the way. The first thing is that although it's easy to clean, it does in a way attract more dirt because it's got like a static attraction to it, so hair and things like that can get stuck to it. Now you can get round this by buying cleaning fluids and wipes that will de-static the surface. I don't know how they work, I'll have to give them a go, but I found it a bit annoying, but it's not too frustrating so that I'm wiping it down all the time. One of the main problems with this material is that you need some help, or you need to be an experienced person with using drills and screws and things like that if you want to secure it properly. So as you can see by looking at this edge, my layer of Perspex is just put flush onto the wood behind it, and we've drilled through it at these points and we've screwed it into the chipboard wood. This is actually called Conti board, the material I've used for my cage. It's just kind of like coated chipboard, so you need chipboard screws, you need to drill a hole through the Perspex and into the wood, and then you can also get these like screw caps to go on top, so it just gives it a bit of a neat finish. And obviously when you're using power tools and things like that, it's not as easy to make as a basic CNC cage, and when you're making a cage with this material there is a chance that when you're drilling a hole through it might crack, because although it's a durable material it can be quite brittle, and this actually happened in one small corner of my cage. As you can see just here, we've got this crack in the plastic which comes out to about here, and I was a bit annoyed about it because I'm a bit of a perfectionist and I wanted everything to be super nice. But actually it's just on the very edge of my cage and I haven't really noticed it much since. Another problem that we encountered was with the two clean edges of the plexiglass, what we were going to do to attach them together, and here we've used super glue, and although it's held really well, you can probably see there's a bit of like misting where it's not perfectly clear here, and that's because it was quite tricky putting the glue on and getting it to stick in the first place. and I think it probably wobbled about a bit, and then this bit got coated with the super glue. Now I think it is possible to clean that up and buff those marks out if you do make a mistake like that, but glue is an option for putting the sides together, and it does look fairly neat, although I think you do need a bit of practice. Second time round we'll probably get that even neater. This has worked well for this edge, however on this edge we've had a bit of a problem with the glue just coming off basically, and that's to do with us leaning on the cage when we've been cleaning it out. So the glue hasn't stuck, although it has been pretty straightforward for us to just put another thin layer of glue and re-stick it. We kind of gave up because it kept happening. But it doesn't look that bad, and I still think that the plexiglass looks really nice. It's a bit messy at the corners, but second time round we can improve that, so it's just something to think about. And the last disadvantage to it is that it is quite an expensive material. However, I think it's not that bad, and it's worth it to have it because it's really nice looking. And it's also not as expensive if you know where to get it from. So have a look at your local timber merchants, timber yards, places like that, where they're likely to have other materials including Perspex or plexiglass, and they can also cut it to size for you. So as long as you've got your measurements spot on, you won't need to worry about cutting it, you just need to worry about drilling it and fixing it together for the cage. I think for all this plexiglass that went into the cage here, it probably cost me about £35, which isn't that bad to say it is 30 centimetres that way, so it's quite high, and it was a 3mm one, so it was a bit more expensive than the 2mm one, which would be a bit more brittle and not as solid as this one. This one's quite nice and doesn't really wobble at all, so 3mm is probably what I would recommend. You can go up to 4 if you really want it to be super sturdy, but I think 3 is fine, especially if you've got a high sides like on this cage. I hope you found this video helpful, especially if you're thinking about using it in your own DIY cage. If you've got any questions, then please comment below and I will try and get back to you. That's all for now, and thank you for watching as always. Bye bye! Hi everyone, so it is Sunday the 22nd of May and I thought why not do a bit of vlogging today.